This is why we've determined that there must be no false rush, even if the best intentions are behind it. We must understand that we will have to live with the virus as long as there are no medicines and, in particular, no vaccines. We must safeguard the success that we have achieved.
Let's go to Berlin to find out more. Our reporter Jessica Saltz is there. Morning, Jessica. So talk us through the plan, if you could. What's this sort of next phase that Germany's entering into, and how's it going to work?
Well, we heard Angela Merkel very much underlining that this is not a return to normality, but rather this is a way of German citizens learning to live alongside this virus until a cure or a vaccine can be found. So these are very tentative step-by-step measures to reduce the lockdown. From this coming Monday, small shops around the country will be allowed to open, and then from May the 4th, schools for older children and also hairdressers will be allowed to open, all of course with the strictest of hygiene measures in place. And as there's talk of people starting to perhaps be able to go back to work, and certainly the motor of industry is starting to roll again here in Germany, the German government is really planning to ramp up its ability to monitor the spread of the virus. They are boosting the amount of healthcare personnel around the country in order to do this, and even bringing in the army in order to do this. And as ever, Rosie, testing remains critical in Germany. Germany currently has the ability to undertake 650,000 corona tests a week, tests for the coronavirus, and this is going to remain critical as the management of the pandemic continues.
Jessica, what's the morale like in Germany? When we spoke a few days ago, you said actually there wasn't as much compliance to the rules as perhaps you might expect, or particularly the German government were expecting. But in light of these new rules laid out by Angela Merkel, how are Germans feeling and responding to them?
Well, I think there's certainly a certain amount of quarantine fatigue, but polls consistently show that the overwhelming majority of Germans support the government's measures to date in controlling this pandemic. But we have seen some grumbling from industry and business leaders in reaction to these latest measures announced by Angela Merkel. They are particularly pointing to the fact that only smaller shops will be allowed to open nationwide from Monday, which they say is completely arbitrary. They say that if larger retailers, and in fact all businesses, are able to maintain social distancing and hygiene measures, they should too be allowed to open. We've also heard some complaints from the area of gastronomy, because they were also waiting to hear a date of when restaurants and bars will be able to open, and they haven't heard anything. So there's still quite a lot of impatience here. And also a lot of people pointing out on social media yesterday that Angela Merkel recommended that all Germans now start wearing face masks.